Hey guys, and in this episode of our simple antivirus tutorials, we'll be adding exclude file extensions and exclude files and folders from our scanner. This will mean that you can block files from being scanned, you can mass block by blocking an extension, or you can simply block the folder they're in to stop them being scanned. So we're going to jump in and we're going to have to do a lot of graphic manipulation today. So we're going to start off by adding a new page, and we're going to come up here and we're going to change our caption to exclusion or exclude. The next thing we want to do is we want to add a few more list views. These are very useful. So this one here is going to have our file extensions in it. And this one's going to have our files and folders in it. Now, someone's bound to ask me why we're separating them like this. We're separating them like this because the function that looks for the file name and folder can be one function, and the file extension has to be a separate function. So we'll do our file ex10. Is that how you spell it? Possibly. If I haven't spelled it right, people, spell it right on your copy. Or if you download my copy, correct it. I am dyslexic. Some things are never going to be spelled correctly. Right, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to add ourselves a column on this one, and it's going to be file/folder. And once again, we're going to come down to the bottom, change the report style to report, or the view style to report, and we're going to quickly enable grid lines, just because I like grid lines. Gives it a bit more of a, that's too big, okay, that'll do. Gives it a nice a nice look to it, I think. Let's try 350. 350 is not big enough. 380, 400 will do. So what I'm doing there is I'm just expanding the width of the column to fit the size. So we're now going to change the names first. This one is going to be called file ext for extension LV. Let's see. And this one is going to be file folder LV list view. Right, now we need to add some pop-up menus. Pop-up menus are great. We've used them before. We're going to use them again. Stick them there. We're going to rename this one to file extension menu, if you spell it right. And this one we're going to name it file folder menu. Right, now a nifty little trick here. If you go to events, scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see pop-up menu. So this one is the file extension, so we're going to click the file extension menu, and on the same on this one we're going to click the folder menu, file folder menu. Now on the file extension we're going to want add. We don't want it in the action. We're going to come down here to caption, add. Then you want to put a dash in, that just gives you a nice break there, and then we want remove. So add, remove, nice little dividing line. And on this one we're going to have add file, add folder, dividing line, remove, removal. Actually, we're going to add removal to the other one. And this is just going to allow us at any point if you want to drop, because these won't save at the minute. This might be in the next episode. These will not save at this current moment. Each time you open the scanner, you'll have to add the file extensions again. So first of all, we're going to deal with the remove. So the remove is nice and simple. It's the same on both of them. You just have to change the name of the list view. So this is file extension list view dot selected dot delete. Nice and simple. And now remove all is file extension list view dot clear. Now we're going to go back to our form, and we're going to do the same for the other side. So file folder dot selected, no, file folder lv dot selected dot delete. Then we're going to go to remove all again, file folder list view dot clear. Right, so that solves the clearing for the minute. So we're going to start with our file extension, and I'm going to show you a very simple way of adding, well, not really adding, but removing files with adding text with input boxes. We're going to double click on it. We're going to close this little bubble here. We're going to have to add a variable straight away. And our variable is going to be ext. That's going to stand for extension. So we want it to be a string. I'm going to come down here. Ext is equal to input box. And we're going to use an input box. An input box is just a really simple built-in method of a person clicking a button or the program asking for user input quickly. So the first part of this is the title. So file, we're going to call it exclude file ext extension. The next bit is the question. Please enter extension to exclude. And then I'm going to put an example here. You don't necessarily need to, but if someone else picks your program up, don't do that. And the last bit, just leave blank. Now the last bit is the predicted, or what you want to set as a preset auto-filled caption, and I'm not going to use it. It gets on my nerves. It also allows the user to add, just keep clicking, you know. Item dot add. So what we're here is we're going to add a new item. It's going to be ext, and that is our add for our file extension done. Now our add folder and file is going to be slightly more difficult. We're going to do folder first. As most of you will notice, this is the same code we used on the home page. We used for the scan. T file, open dialog, dot create nil, then begin. Oh no, we're going to do and then try. Safer. Right, so finally we're going to need to put in here free, and then this side we're going to do if cq, then we're going to put file folder lv dot item.add.caption, and the caption will be the file name plus that. Yeah, that looks right. Right, now we're going to do the file. So we're going to come up here, add file, and it's pretty much the same. Well, it's exactly the same, pretty much. Like that. Have I missed something out here? I have missed something out here. Before execute, we're supposed to pick folders. So options, and options equals do pick folder, I think it was. Do pick folders, maybe? Yep, folders. So this little bit here just tells the open dialog we want to pick a folder, we don't want to pick a file. But lucky for us, as we did that first, we can simply take the end off, and we've done our file one. So now let's give that a go. Right. So here's our little dialog box. So we want to add .jpeg, and that works. We're going to add a file. When it's loaded, we're going to add our database file. Let's add a database file. Let's add a folder. We're going to exclude projects. Add projects to our list. Right. So I'm pretty happy with that. We're going to move right along. I'm going to come out of our debug. I'm going to close this little bit so that my screen gets bigger again. I'm going to come up here. We're going to add a new unit. And this unit's primary function is to take our whole exclusion and make it compact. So exclude from scan is what I'm going to call it. Nice and simple, reminds me what it is. So we need some uses, Windows and syst utils. I'm also going to need to use form 1. So we're going to have to call main form in here. Right, now we're going to start coding out our functions. So the first one I'm going to do is the file extension. So function list excluded ext. And we would just want a file path string, and that's just going to be a basic string. And we need to return a boolean. So it's going to tell us yes or no. We need some variables in here. We're going to need I as an integer. And we're going to need temp extension, which is just going to be a string. We're going to do this because we want to extract the file extension and only do it once. So the result by default is going to be false. It's not on the list. So what we want to do is we now want to propagate temp extension so that we only do it once. So temp extension is equal to extract file ext, which is extension, and we're going to put a file path string in there. Right, now we have our file extension. We're going to do a for. We're just going to hit enter and begin. So for 0 to form1 dot file extension list view dot items dot count. We're going to take 1 away. Right. This starts counting at 1. This starts counting at 0. You need to take 1 away. So we're getting the number of extensions in here, and then we're going to check each extension to see if it's the same. So So we're going to do file, and we're going to do an if temp extension is equal to form1 dot file extension dot items dot item. Then we're going to give it the index of I, which is our loop variable, and then we're going to go for the caption. The caption is the bit we set earlier, and then we're going to do begin and result is equal to true, and then we want to exit. Right. So let me run through this quickly. Result is negative. We get the file extension. We then loop. We check if the file extension is the same. If it is, we exit. If we exit. We don't need to continue looking. So we're going to copy this, put it up here, save it for later. And now we are going to do the folder version. Now the folder version, we have to add a slight bit more code because we're also checking files. So we're going to do function list excluded files folder, or file folder. And then once again we need the file path string. It's just going to be a string, doesn't need to be an L string. Like that. Now we're going to return a boolean. Where's my R gone? There's me out. And once again we need two variables. We need var, and then we need I is an integer again, and we need temp string, which is just going to be a string for us. And once again we're going to go for again, and we're going to set the result to negative. So with our result set to negative, we are going to check. We should really have added this to the other one as well. So we're going to do form1 dot, no, we're going to do if form1 dot file folder list view dot items dot count equals 0, exit. So we're going to add this one here as well. If form1 dot file extensions dot items dot count equals 0, then exit. Quite simple. If we don't have any file extensions, we just want to exit the function. There's no point in continuing. So we can get rid of that space, and we're going to start again here. Right, now we're going to start with our for loop. So we're going to do for. It's not deciding to do it today. There you go. So we're doing for 0 to form1 file extension dot items dot count. No, we shouldn't be doing items, should we? We should be doing files. That's my mistake. Dot files dot items dot count. Take 1. Do begin. And from this point, we're going to use two functions to check if it's there. So we're going to do if form1 dot file item dot items dot item. The index is I once again. Dot caption is equal to file path string. Then begin. It's possible, because we're scanning both files and folders, that the file we're currently scanning is the file we have excluded, or the file we're about to scan is the file we're excluded. So we're going to do result equals true and exit. Now, with folders, you have to be slightly more resilient with it. So we're going to do temp string is equal to form1 dot files folder list view dot item dot item, no, not index, dot item, and we want the current item we're on, which is I, and we want the caption. So we're going to do if ANSI pos, so ASCII pos, and it has to be anything other than 0, because it will return 0 if it's not found. And we want our temp string first, and then our file path string afterwards. Oh, path string, and that there. So, quite simply, if I hover over this, it's not going to do it today. Nope. So this is our needle and this is our haystack. No, is it the other way around? Yes, no, it is that way around. Needle, haystack. And if it finds our needle in the haystack, it will return the position of it, and hence it will return an integer, and the integer is anything other than 0. If it's not found, it will remain 0. Right, so that is our exclude functions done. Don't do that. Right, so just clear them up slightly. And copy that, put it at the top. And we've just got one more thing to go to do. So we're going to come over to our scan files. And we're going to move a few things about. Now this here, we're going to have to move. So we're going to cut it out. And we're going to put it up here as the first thing that comes through the hole. And then, I believe, where shall we put this quickly? If I put it before that, we'll cut that out. Put it before that, it'll cut it out. So if we put it after the exit here. Right, so we're going to do if. Oh, no, we need to declare it first. We need to declare the fact we want to use that form, or that unit. So exclude from scan. Right, so we've now declared our other unit here. For quickness, I'm just going to copy the file extension, or the function name. Come down here, and it wants file path. We do begin, and just put an exit in here for now. And now we need the other one. Check if it's a folder. And once again, an if statement. And once again, the file path goes in there. And once again, begin, exit. So for now, we are just going to add a variable up here called files skipped. And we're going to do that because at a later date, we'll add it to the report. It'd be interesting to see how many files you've skipped. And at the minute, I think we're pushing our luck for the amount of time we're doing this episode. So it's pretty simple. You just add it the same way we added the other variables to it if you want to try it on your own. If not, next episode, we'll be doing it. Right, so we've now got our file exclusions. It now should work. So we're going to turn it on and see. And it does seem to be on at the minute. So I'm going to exclude .rar files. I know there's a .rar in here somewhere. And I'm also going to exclude the database file from being scanned. and the projects folder from being scanned. And if you remember from last time, and if you go back to the other video, you'll see that while scanning the projects folder, there is actually an SCAR test file in there, and it should get detected. So if we've done this correctly, it shouldn't scan any RAR files, and it should not find our SCAR test file. Now it's found putty, and it isn't scanning our RAR files, so we've done it right. If you remember from last time, or if you're following along coding, you'll know that any RAR files it scans are really slow. And it's due to the size of the file. So by excluding RAR files, you rapidly improve your scan rate, but you decrease your detection rate. So it's all a juggle. And as you can see, it's still scanning fine. And we still haven't had our SCAR test file pop up, which means it worked perfectly. Right, so that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. Next episode we'll be adding the ability to save these settings, and we'll be adding the ability to reset the graphics. It's something I've been meaning to add for a good while, and I have not got round to it. I feel a bit bad that I haven't got round to it, so we will be adding it. It's not a necessity, but it makes it a lot more user friendly. We might be adding some other things I haven't yet decided. Yeah, like I said in the last episode, it is a running project for me, so I haven't really got anything planned for it, but we're just continuing with it as needed. If you have any suggestions, chuck them in the comments section. If I can do it in one episode, or you know, if I get a few that are really short things to add, I will add them in one episode, many in one episode. Please do leave us a comment in the comment section telling me what you'd like to see. In a future episode, we will be adding RAR support and zip support for this. I haven't yet decided whether I'll do them both in one episode or whether I'll do them in a couple of episodes. I know that it takes a few minutes, a good few minutes to add RAR support, and zip support isn't that bad. So we might do one then the other. But until next time, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. I appreciate it. But until next time, I will see you later.